If you clicked on this video, then you're probably wondering what picture profile you should shoot in to get the best possible image out of your Sony camera. And if you're anything like me, when I first discovered picture profiles, you are extremely confused. In this video, I'll be sharing my personal favorite picture profiles to use on my Sony camera. So first, let's start off by answering the question, what is a picture profile? Your picture profile is a setting on your camera that determines how your video will look. So if you want the most dynamic range, you can shoot in a log profile like S-Log2 or S-Log3, which makes your video look flat, but when you convert it to Rec. 709 in post, you get a really good looking image. Now, this may seem like an easy decision at first. Just shoot in the best possible picture profile, right? Well, unfortunately, it's not that simple. There are a ton of picture profiles on Sony cameras. Most have 10 to 11. So what is the best picture profile? In my opinion, there are two things that help you figure out which picture profile is the best for you. Number one is personal preference. Shoot in every picture profile, bring it into your editing software, and grade them and see which ones look the best to you. Number two is how much time do you want to spend color correcting in post. If you shoot in a log picture profile, when you go to edit your videos, you have to convert all of your clips to Rec. 709. And there are two ways that you can do this. You can either convert it manually by adding some contrast and saturation back into the clip and then adjusting the exposure, or you can apply a LUT or lookup table. What's awesome is that Sony has provided us with free conversion LUTs, so we can convert our footage into Rec. 709 easier. This makes the process much faster, but it's still an extra step that you have to do before you can start editing your footage. So it's up to you to decide whether or not a log picture profile will be best in your shoot, or if you should stick to a different picture profile that doesn't require as much color correcting in post. So now let's talk about the picture profiles that I like to use when I shoot my videos, and I say picture profiles because there are two of them. Starting off with the first one, if I'm in a setting where I can control the lighting, like this one, I will use S-Log2. I have my color mode set to S-Gamut3.Cine, and my detail is set to -2. I don't use S-Log3 because my camera is 8-bit, and S-Log2 tends to do better with 8-bit cameras. But if you have a 10-bit camera, go ahead and shoot in S-Log3. When I'm exposing my S-Log2 footage, I make sure that I overexpose by 2 stops. Now, this may seem confusing. Why am I overexposing by 2 stops? Well, Sony recommends that you overexpose by 1.7 to 2 stops so that it's easier to convert your footage to Rec. 709. If you don't overexpose by 2 stops, then your footage will be looking very dark after you convert it, and you'll have to manually add exposure in your editing software, which can introduce some digital noise. You can use zebras, no, not literal zebras, the setting on your camera, to help you expose for S-Log2, and then you can use the exposure compensation as a guide. Set your zebra setting to a custom one, and then set the lower limit to your clipping point. Now, the clipping point depends on which picture profile you're shooting in. So S-Log2, S-Log3, HLG, those will all have different clipping points. I recommend that you look up online what the clipping point for your picture profile is, and then just set that number in your zebra settings. Then when you go to shoot your video, increase your aperture, ND filter, or ISO, although it's best to use ISO as a last resort, until you see the zebras appear on the screen. Then lower the exposure until they aren't showing up anymore. And it's important to note here that if you are filming yourself, you may have to overexpose the background a little bit, so you may see some zebras in the background, but you'd much rather have your subject exposed properly compared to the sky. So if you're filming yourself, make sure to expose for your skin. Next, it's time to convert that log footage into Rec. 709 in your editing software. If I'm in DaVinci Resolve, I will use the color space transform, so I'll just drag that onto one of my nodes, and then I'll input my settings. So I'll choose S-Gamut3.Cine, S-Log2, and then my output settings will be Rec. 709 and Gamma 2.4. Then I'm ready to color grade my footage. If I'm in Final Cut, I either use the free Sony conversion LUT or a LUT from another creator. So what if I don't want to have to take all the time to make sure my settings are right, I'm exposed properly, and then all the time after in my editing software to convert my clip to Rec. 709? Well, then I'll use a different picture profile that requires there's less color correcting, and you don't have to overexpose by 2 stops. And my picture profile of choice is Cine 4. I have my color mode set to Pro, and then I set the saturation to +1. This lets me get some really good colors straight out of camera, and I don't have to do that much correction in post. I can just import my footage, make very minor adjustments, and then I'm ready to color grade. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are just my personal favorite picture profiles, but obviously everyone has a different opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you liked it, hit that subscribe button down below to see more videos like this, and I will see you guys in my next video.